Hi, I am Addy from RecapKun Recap. This is my recap for the anime, A Returner's Magic Should Be Special. If you enjoy my recaps and would like to support the channel, please consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell. The story begins in a world of total destruction, with the corpses of fallen comrades scattered everywhere. Suddenly, the ground starts to shake violently as a powerful dragon named Neapolitan approaches, destroying everything in its path. The creature pauses for a moment and begins inspecting the surroundings as it is surrounded by a group of warriors. Being proud and arrogant, the creature starts to speak, reminding humans that it is invincible and cannot be defeated. Among the warriors is a guy named Desire, who explains that creatures like this come from the shadow worlds, which are the worst calamity humans have ever faced. Slowly, the world becomes shrouded in a black fog, leaving nothing surviving in the lands it taints, and nobody knows what goes on inside it. The only way to save the world is by conquering the shadow worlds before the fog claims everything. Desire then takes an oath to slay Neapolitan to end the suffering. The dragon begins to charge up and blasts a huge amount of energy towards the humans. One of the warriors named Raffaello, wielding a shield, steps into the middle and prepares to block it. However, Desire easily counters an incoming energy blast with his magic. This enrages the dragon, and he immediately begins to charge up a stronger spell for another attack. But Desire breaks it before it can be completed. He tells his allies that he has sealed the dragon's draconian spells with a circle, signaling them for an attack. The remaining warriors charge up for an attack, making Neapolitan angry as measly humans stand in his way, and he begins attacking them with his tail. However, Raffaello steps in the way and blocks his tail with the shield, proving that he is the Knight of the Light. Meanwhile, Donovan and Ajess keep attacking the dragon, making him go nuts. When Neapolitan tries to attack them, Zod aids them from a distance with a powerful energy beam. He then gathers all of his magic before transferring it to Ajess, giving her enough MP to finally defeat Neapolitan. The warriors proudly watch as the dragon collapses and the sun emerges from behind the clouds. Even though they have defeated the dragon, they are still stuck in this world. Donovan wonders if they targeted the wrong enemy, but Zod is certain that slaying the dragon was the only condition to escape this hell. They decided to wait for a while, and in the meantime, they remembered how it had been a long and hard journey. Among the 150 million people who had fought the dragon Neapolitan, only 6 of them had survived. Desire recalled all his comrades who had fought the dragon. The battle had taken a toll on the world, with almost 99% of the mages perishing. Priscilla interrupts them, trying to change the subject and talk about something uplifting. The other warriors praised Desire for his contribution, and Zod pointed out how it had been nearly impossible for any of them to seal the dragon's draconian spell, and Desire managed to exceed his expectations. Zod questioned Desire about why, despite having so much strength, he was still unknown. It turned out that Desire was not a noble mage like the rest, he was a commoner. Zod found it unfortunate, as if Desire had been at the magic tower, he could have provided any necessary support. Raffaello then asked about their plans once they returned to their world, and as they were speaking, the dragon opened its eyes. They saw a huge amount of energy starting to release from the dragon's body, and the warriors thought it was still alive. However, they soon learned that it was the dragon's heart, which not only pumped blood but also stored and circulated a vast amount of mana. When the dragon dies, his heart stops pumping blood, but the mana has nowhere to go, so it will explode. The surroundings begin to collapse as our hero steps forward. He tries to form a magical barrier, which gets blown away by the sheer amount of MP. Desire couldn't believe his eyes, as this is how his life will end. Raffaello gets upset that Zod hadn't realized this before the fight. But since it's the first time in history that someone has managed to defeat a dragon, no one could predict the outcome. Zod then forms a barrier around them to protect themselves from the explosion. However, a huge amount of mana is released, and everyone prepares for their impending doom. Desire watches his hands as he remembers his comrades and friends, and gets hit by the mana. He then opens his eyes and finds himself in an empty hall. He is nicely dressed as if he's in a school or an office and begins to question his whereabouts. He hears the sound of applause and goes in that direction. He is dumbfounded when he sees Professor Bridget addressing new students. She informs them about a test, and among them, only 600 will be accepted to the academy. This leaves the students surprised, and it gets even worse when they learn that they have to clear the shadow world as a test. Professor Bridget explains the students that the shadow world is artificially created for the purpose of the test, and they will be supported by their seniors in the process. Desire couldn't understand what was happening or why he is there in the first place. He becomes even more astonished when Professor Bridget says it's the year 3613. Desire realizes that somehow he has returned to the past, 3 years before the war with Napolitan started. He feels miserable and begins to think that the war and everything they went through was pointless. He vividly remembers the view of the academy and accepts his current state. A female student named Ladoria interrupts him and questions why he didn't show up at the meeting spot. She is a second-year student and Desire's mentor for the upcoming entrance exam. Desire recalls that she is a genius mage who wields fire magic and ranked first in the academy. She tells Desire not to be nervous about the upcoming test, as the Shadow World is created artificially to assess the student's capabilities in combat. Ladoria is surprised to learn that Desire is a commoner, and she looks a little disappointed, thinking that even if Desire manages to pass, he will still be in the beta class. The academy has discriminatory policies, placing nobles in the alpha class and commoners in the beta class. Even if a commoner is talented, he or she won't get a chance to receive a proper education. After some time, both of them visit the facility, and Ladoria is shocked to realize that the grand facility didn't surprise Desire. He tells her that he has seen a similar building before, but Ladoria is not buying this because there is no grand facility like this elsewhere. Anyways, they are getting late for the test, and she doesn't have time to ask further questions. While on the way to the testing room, they stumble upon another student named Elheim. Desire remembers him as a mage who wields water magic and has a grudge against Ladoria. He confirms it, and she tells him that she really hates Elheim. The two of them start spit roasting each other before Elheim notices Desire standing there. He asks for his name and then checks his information. Upon learning that Desire is a commoner, he makes fun of him, telling him that there won't be any competition. Before leaving, he tries to demotivate Desire by advising him not to take the test as he will end up in the beta class. This leaves Ladoria annoyed, and at the same time, the announcement is made that the entrance exam will commence shortly. Elheim's odd behavior has enraged Ladoria, and she tells him that he must pass the test, and they depart for the testing site. Desire finally accepted that he is back in the past, and upon reaching the test site, he started looking around, trying to find someone. However, a girl's voice calls him, who turns out to be Desire's girlfriend, Romantica, telling him to stop looking around like a pervert. Desire doesn't know why he is back in the past, but now he is determined to rewrite the history of the world. Thanks for watching this anime recap. Subscribe and hit the bell icon for more anime recaps like this. I will see you in the next video.